when I did my coding bootcamp, that was when I first learned about the concept called MVP. And since then, I hear the word MVP used all the time in tech. MVP stands for minimum viable product. It's basically the least common thing you need that you can ship out to let users use it and get feedback on it. And then during my coding bootcamp, we would have to create an MVP for an app idea we have. And then during work, when I was doing my internship at the startup, creating this app from scratch, we worked on creating the MVP for it. And then when I was working at my corporate tech job, I worked on the MVP of multiple projects. And here's like an example of it. Like you can think of Uber. Uber is like a ride-sharing app, and Uber has all these other functionalities. Like you can have different options of like, oh, Uber X, Uber XL, 2 people, 3 people you want to share, all these other extra ones. But the core of it is to be able to add, like, book a car ride and basically book a car ride. And these other tiers that you can add, these other features, these other do not disturb, they're just extra features that's not essential to building out the app. So I really like applying this mindset for like app creation and also life as well. So for apps, you want to think of what is the minimum viable product you need, because the nature of code, what's the beauty of it, what's exciting about it is limitless. There's endless work you can do. There's endless optimizations, endless features you can add to something. There's no limit. But adding all that stuff requires work. And then if you're hiring developers, if you're doing it yourself, it's going to take time. It's going to take money. And you don't have endless time and money. So you have to make sacrifices and make trade-offs. So it really points you to think of what's the core, what's essential to your app idea, and just applying it for life too. Like dieting, maybe. In dieting, there's so many ways you can diet, so many tactics and strategies, but what's like the main thing as far as like being in a calorie deficit, and all these other things is like tactics that help you get there. So you really want to think of what's the minimum thing, and you want to, and not just the minimum thing, something that will work as well, something that can solve a problem, and you want to make sure that the thing you're creating solves a problem, or else it's not really useful. You want to ship it out to let other people use it, and that's another key feature I like about it, is just getting feedback on your process. So you want to get feedback on what users would say and what stakeholders would say, because you don't want to. You have this hypothesis of what you think users will like, but that's just all in your mind. You have to test it out into the market to see if they actually like it or not. And then you keep iterating until you get something. And based on the feedback, you can add certain features as you want. Same thing as like dieting. You think of like the core minimum thing you need to do to lose weight, and then you apply different tactics that you want, and then you keep iterating on it until you get the result. Like some things in your mind you think it's going to work like this, but then things come up, emotions come out, cravings come up, things that is just good in theory isn't actually good in practicality. So keep this MVP mindset in whatever endeavor you're pursuing, including building apps, business, life. Create something small that you think is going to solve a problem, and keep iterating it, get feedback on it. and you'll continuously improve. So that's all I want to share with you today about how like different coding lessons, different coding principles, and how it applies to life. And MVP is the one I wanted to talk to you about today. My name's David, and I'm a freelance web developer. If you need help building out an app, a website, a web app, feel free to message me, and I can see how I can help. And also, if you're an aspiring dev, need help learning the code, feel free to message me as well because I provide coding coaching. Thank you.